With snow and cold just around the corner, we'll show you how to properly deal with your compost in the winter months ahead on the Green Update. How are we doing,
right
Kathy?
In there, yeah. Just spread it right around the plant.
All right, sounds good.
And now, Newswatch at 5:30 continues.
Have you been busy getting the park ready for fall and winter, Kathy?
There's always a lot to do in the garden this time of year, Matt.
There certainly is. A lot of people are thinking about their compost this time of year. We're actually at the compost clinic here at Ecology Park. What should we be doing?
Well, one important thing to keep in mind is that the material that you put in the composter isn't going to break down very much during the winter. So a composter gets filled up really quickly during the winter months.
Okay.
So that's why it's important to start off the winter with your composter as empty as possible.
Okay. And we can apply that to our lawns and gardens, can we?
Absolutely. Even if the compost is not quite finished yet, you might still have a few, chunks in it.
Okay.
You can definitely spread this in the garden this time of year. Mm-hmm. You can spread it over the top around the plants. If you're already going to be digging in the garden, harvesting your potatoes or whatever, you can just dig this right in. Mm-hmm. So you get rid of as much of it as possible. Exactly. So that you're starting with your composter fairly empty.
Now, once it's empty, what should we be doing after that?
Well, another important thing to think about in the fall. Mm-hmm. All the leaves are falling from the trees, and adding leaves to your composter really helps the process to work much more quickly and much more effectively. So it's a great time of year to save some leaves for next year for layering into your composter. So don't put them all out at the curb, rake them up and save some.
Okay. Now, once we've got our leaves saved, we should layer them, I believe, right?
Yes, and this goes whether you're composting in the fall, the winter, the summer, any time of year. Mm-hmm. You need a mix of greens and browns.
Okay.
So the greens are fresh greens like this. These are scraps of lettuce, fruit peelings, for example, anything sort of lush and moist. Mm-hmm. You want to alternate those greens with the dry browns. Green and brown, green and brown. That's what makes a composter happy.
Okay.
So you put the fresh materials in here and you mix them with the brown materials.
Okay.
This time of year there might be a number of trimmings from the garden. These can go in as well.
Now, speaking of garden trimmings, is there anything we shouldn't be putting in?
Okay, if you have anything that's diseased, you've got like fungal diseases on your plants, probably don't put them into your composter. Okay. Also, if there's mature seeds of plants that you've been weeding out, don't put mature weed seeds in the compost. A backyard composter you don't always get enough volume of material to make the pile heat up. Normally, if you've got a big pile, greens and browns, the bacteria are reproducing so quickly that they actually will make steam rise from the compost.
Oh, okay.
And if you've got a hot compost like that, that will kill any weed seeds, it will kill any disease organisms. But to be on the safe side, most people don't have the time to pay a lot of attention to their composters. So it's probably better to keep those things and put them out in your green waste bags for the city to compost, because they do it on such a large scale, everything heats up and everything gets cooked.
All right, well, thanks, Kathy. I think we really learned a lot today. And let's get back to our compost.
Okay, let's add these to the pile here.
All right, sounds good.
I get some greens, you get some browns.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Looking good.
The Green Update is brought to you by Peterborough Transit. Come on board with our on-time services. If you have any questions about today's episode of the Green Update, call Peterborough Green Up at 745-3238.